Premier Li Qiang spoke about rising above differences and finding creative solutions to global uncertainty on his first official foreign visit. Li's trip began on Sunday in Berlin amid concern of overdependence on China, but the German Chancellor clarified that they aimed at de-risking rather than decoupling. Li responded by saying that risk reduction and security measures were not opposite to cooperation and said the lack of cooperation is the biggest risk and the lack of development the biggest insecurity. Arriving in Paris on Wednesday evening, he said China and France share a common strategic and holistic perspective. Germany and France had a combined bilateral trade with China of nearly $400 billion last year. They are the two biggest economies in the EU and priority for Li Qiang's first foreign visit as Chinese Premier. Li's trip was aimed at bolstering ties and implementing agreements reached by German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and French President Emmanuel Macron with Chinese President Xi Jinping on respective visits to Beijing earlier this year. Li praised Germany's stance on anti-protectionism while welcoming France's views on Europe's strategic autonomy. China's new premier also addressed a two-day global financial summit where 40 heads of state gathered to discuss how to end poverty, inequality and the debt-strangling emerging economies, while also focusing on decarbonizing global trade and protecting biodiversity. Li welcomed agreements reached like the $200 billion that the World Development Bank will make available to vulnerable countries over the next 10 years, plus the long-awaited delivery of $100 billion in climate finance by wealthy nations in the global north. The Chinese premier also reiterated his desire to promote free trade and avoid protectionist policies that would harm growth.
China and Europe should rise above differences, seek and expand common ground, while respecting differences and push for more creative solutions to tackle the uncertainty in the global situation with the stability of Chinese-European relations, and jointly contribute to the sustainable development of the human race.
During bilateral talks with Macron, Li said he wanted to strengthen business cooperation. The chance to continue dialogue with Europe's most powerful leaders and find common ground on wider environmental issues is considered a positive by many observers. The challenge now is for both sides to continue that momentum. Ken Browne, CGTN, Paris.